Hello, I'm Robert Oshanda. This is the Walking Podcast. So, welcome to today's story of the Walking Podcast, in which I want to share an experience that I had today, and which I feel I want to share to just better understand what had happened, and to use that moment of recording as a personal reflection. So it started when I walked from home to my office, to my work, and I had recently I had a conversation with a good friend on whether or not I should give to homeless people. And so what I frequently just encountered in conversations with my friends and people in general is that the argument that when you give money to homeless, they just never use it for the well-intended things that you gave the money for. Let's say food, or water, or just like the basic needs that you want them to cover. And it kind of used to be my position as well, that I didn't want to give it to homeless people to prevent them from consuming drugs, or to maybe even support just a criminal network, basically a mafia structure with my money. But then a while ago, I listened to a very interesting, I think it was a TED Talk, and the presenter shared this very, very intriguing thought, which was, he gives money not because he hopes anything for that person. Of course he wants the best for that person, but he gives money to acknowledge the feeling, the emotion that comes up inside himself seeing a homeless person. So this very nature of experiencing empathy is the main driver for him to give money to the homeless. And that so much fascinated me that that I wanted to break my automatic reaction of saying no when someone was asking me for money. And I really wanted to change that. So what I did was I created kind of an emergency coin pocket in which I just store, a couple of coins. Not a lot of money, but just a couple of cents that I could give in situations in which someone is asking me for money. And so today in the morning, I experienced exactly this situation that I had prepared myself for. So in front of a supermarket, there was a woman asking me, begging for money. And why my natural reaction, maybe not natural, but my trained reaction always used to be to say no. In this moment today, I just gave a couple of cents, and with this broader understanding that I was responding to just my natural feeling of empathy for that person. And so that was great. It just felt great in a way that I just admitted my empathy. And then I moved on and just walked through the city. And then suddenly, another woman approached me, and she had just a piece of paper with her, and she was asking me for a favor, essentially. And again, my automatic reaction was, sorry, I don't have money. I already gave money today. Which was, first of all, like, did I set myself kind of a threshold? Did I tell myself to only give once? What if people ask me, what if more than one person asks me for money on a given day? How should I react? So like a bunch of new questions suddenly just popped up in my mind. But she like quickly corrected and said like, no, I don't even want money. I just want you to buy me or help me buy Pampers and milk for my baby. And then like suddenly I was like, whoa, all right. It gave me to think. I needed time to process what you just asked me for, because it was so unexpected. Like, this person did not ask me for money, but basically for my help. And what followed was that I invited her to share her story with me, because I got curious. Where you're from? How had the last weeks looked like for you? Did you? I mean, we're in that severe crisis of millions of people, refugees, coming to Europe, and it's a very difficult and huge problem, and that we are confronted, at least on the media, every single day. And now suddenly I was just like experiencing this problem just in practice, just in reality. I was confronted by it. So she shared her story with me. Technically she was not a refugee, but she came from Moldova, because in that in her country there's no way for her to have a job that pays enough to sustain a family, and that made her move to Germany. So I first, my first reaction was, all right. So now you shared your story with me, and I just felt she told the truth, and I felt that I could trust her, and I felt that I kind of broke that just cycle of not being just a human and not being just helpful if someone asks me for help. And this one thing that really intrigued me was when she was saying that I'm the 15th person she was asking on that day, and that the 14 people before me just refused to help, even though she was asking for a very, very concrete thing that would make nobody rich. I mean, nobody, would ask you for Pampers and milk to then make a fortune and just sell it again to get the money. No, she did not ask out of any commercial interest, but just because she wanted something to, for her baby. And well, it's so, it still makes me think, because I guess I could have helped her more. I guess I could have just gone with her to the next shop and actually just buy the milk and the Pampers. But I decided not to, go with her, like in the opposite direction to go to the shop, but just continue my way to my work. And but what I did eventually was I wrote down a small note on a piece of paper in German, in which I was stating that I, Robert, helped this young nice lady with a couple of euros to support her buying Pampers and milk for her baby, and that other people reading this would just make me happy if they help too. So why do I share this story? I feel because there's something that that just triggered, that this experience triggered something inside me that change over the next weeks to come, that whoever is asking me for help just will receive help from me. And even if it's just a tiny bit, like taking the time to prepare a note for her in German to take with her and share, and thereby receive more support from other people. So my name is Robert Ajanda. I'm signing off from today's story, the Walking Podcast. If you found this story valuable or worth listening to, I'd be so appreciative if you just share it with a friend or someone you care for. And please also do share your criticism, your experiences with that regard, with your feedback. It helps me to also just explore different directions in my own life. It helps to make these conversations, stories, maybe even more useful and more interesting. Thank you. Goodbye.